Hey there guys, Portal Master 9351 here, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Skylanders Showdown, the game show where we take a hypothetical matchup of two Skylanders and talk about why one would win out over the other. And in today's episode, we are going to be kicking off Season 2 of Skylanders Showdown. And so, this time, we will be doing the Giants, as you can tell. And so in today's episode, we have got Crusher versus Hothead. Now, one nice thing about doing the Giants is that, other than variants, it's just the originals. So, I'm not going to have overwhelmingly, like 10 Eruptors and then 6 Stealth Elves over here. It's just going to be Hothead and Crusher and Granite Crusher, so it's a lot more manageable. So, very interesting. First episode under the new system and under the new, classification. So, let's just see how this goes. So, you've got Crusher. Those of you who are not familiar with the character, since this is the first round, once again, I will go back and introduce him. Basically, we get Crusher. Heavy melee character who can swing his hammer. He has a gaze from his eyes in which he can turn things to stone. And he can break apart and sort of roll around as gravel, damaging enemies, and then reform into Crusher. But then we have Hothead. Hothead, of course, is going to be able to spew fire out of his hands, as you can see, fire in his hands. Pretty straightforward. He can also do a ton of oil and fire-based attacks. His secondary attack is to spew oil all over the ground, which he can then ignite with this fire. And then we get his ability to rain fire, and that can also ignite his oil. He can also turn himself into a motorcycle and ride around on a little fiery motorcycle molten magma. So, really, the ultimate nail in the coffin on this one, it's pretty interesting because Crusher, when he hits Hothead is made of magma, or I guess it's lava. Magma is when it's still on the ground, so lava is when it's above ground. So he's made of lava, not magma. Sorry. Technicality, scientific technicality. So basically, if he gets hit with a hammer, he's just going to reform. I mean, he is not going to take any damage from getting hit with the hammer. Just because he's made of lava, it's not going to do anything. His Stony Gaze doesn't even work on anything bigger than like a Chompy. Anyways, it's the most useless ability in the game. But Crusher can deal some damage to him. He can break up and sort of stick to Hothead. And so if you know anything about fire, if you throw gravel on fire, it's going to put it out. Gravel or sand, it sort of muffles the fire, puts it out. And so you could sort of cool him down. The interesting thing, though, is Crusher is rock. He is molten rock. So even though he might be able to get a little bit of damage and cool him off a little bit, he is literally going to turn into lava. The more he hits this guy with the gravel, the more powerful this guy becomes, the more lava he gets. Essentially, his attacks aren't going to do anything to Hothead. And again, this is strictly speaking in terms of physics, not of the actual in-game mechanics. If we're talking about in-game mechanics, it's quite possible it could go either way. But in the real world, if these things were real, assuming they were, I am very sure that Crusher wouldn't be able to do anything to Hothead. Hothead, on the other hand, blast him with fire, could heat him up, heat rocks, turns him into magma. Basically, cover him in oil, gonna lose his footing. There's just a variety of reasons that Crusher can't really do anything to Hothead. So, other than maybe put out his little fires, but, then they would just show back up again. So, with that in mind, Hothead would win, and Crusher would die terribly basically, Crusher would turn into Hothead. Pretty straightforward. So, I'll see you guys in the first banishment of the Giants momentarily, where we will banish Crusher. But for now, that's all. This has been Portal Master 9351. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye! For the first banishment of Season 2, I think we can start off with the good